In this video, I'll show you how to add light fixtures to the reflected ceiling plan. First, we'll need to make sure our temporary dimensions are set up correctly. So we'll go to Manage, Additional Settings, and Temporary Dimensions. It's easier for us to add light fixtures when we have an edge that we can select. So instead of center lines, we're going to want to select like the face of this wall. If we have center line selected, it's going to go to the center line. So we're going to change that to faces. And then we're also going to change it to openings. And then click OK. Okay, so now let's add a few light fixtures. Now you can only add light fixtures when you have a ceiling placed. And so usually this is done in the level 1 ceiling plan. And then also just make sure that you have a ceiling placed. If you try to add a light fixture and there's not a ceiling there, Revit won't recognize it or won't allow you to do that. To add a light fixture to your plan, you'll go to Architecture and Component and Load Family. Now the family that I want you to load is this Troffer light, the 2x2 parabolic. It's a light fixture that's easy to see on the reflected ceiling plan, so we're going to start there. So you would click that and then hit Open. Now, as you place the light fixture, you can try to center it within the grid, but sometimes it's easier just to place it off to the side and then use your Move command or first select the light fixture, then hit your Move command and move that into place using Revit's endpoints. And then you can then copy that light fixture also. So to copy that light fixture, I would first hit the arrow, then hit copy, and then go from endpoint to endpoint. Notice how the light fixtures are perfectly aligned. You usually place them so that they are aligned so that the grid system looks organized and distributes light evenly. Now this image right here, this 3D view, shows the top part of the room highlighting the ceiling grid and the light fixture, so you can see what that looks like inside the room. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to switch to make sure we're on ceiling plan level 1, and we're going to add some ceiling tags. The ceiling tags will show the height of the ceiling, and it will also show you the ceiling type. And so this is sometimes helpful to add to the reflected ceiling plan, just to add more information for the contractors and people that are bidding on the project so they're aware of the ceiling type. Okay, so we're adding an annotation or a note, so we're going to go to the Annotate tab, and then we're going to click Tag by Category. And then I'm going to select one element within the ceiling grid. So it says there is no tag loaded for the ceilings. Do you want to load one now? And then I'll select yes. You can find the ceiling tag with height under the Annotations tab. So U.S. Imperial Annotations Architectural. And here it is right here, ceiling tag with height. Then hit Open. And then kind of hover over the ceiling where you're wanting to add the identification tag and just select. So before we move on, I wanted to show you that as you're building the ceiling system and you're adding the lights can join with that ceiling grid. So if you make any modifications to the ceiling grid, those lights are going to move with that grid. So for example, if you decided that you wanted to rotate this ceiling, so you could rotate it by selecting the Rotate tool, and then make sure that you have that line selected before you do that. Then start to rotate and watch the light fixtures. Watch how they move with that ceiling grid. Okay, so that's important to remember just as you're placing them. If you, obviously we wouldn't want to do something like that in a room, but if you are moving one part of the ceiling grid over, let's say you're just moving this over 1 foot, see how the light fixtures move with it. So that's very helpful when you need to make quick changes to your ceiling grid. Okay, so that's just one light fixture that you can add to your lighting plan. There are other light fixtures, obviously, within the Revit components or family libraries. So let's go take a look at some of those and we can discuss them. US Imperial, and then going to lighting, and then architectural, and then let's just stick with internal. You see that we have under cabinet lighting in here. We also have a few pendant lights that you can add. And then just simple, like just round LED downlights as well. There's also sconce lamps that you can add that you can actually add onto a wall too. And so you could just click one of those and then place it on the actual wall. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's choose this one right here. Hit open. And then you can just hover near the wall. And then if you needed to make any changes to that light fixture, you could, as far as the height and everything, then you could go into these areas right here. You can see that it says elevation 6'4". If you wanted to make that higher or lower, you could change that just within after you place the light, or if you have it selected, then you can make those changes with the placement. So there's a lot of options within Revit as far as some of the basic light fixtures, but if you can't find what you're looking for, just like with the ceiling types, you can go to the manufacturers, and so many manufacturers have Revit libraries that you can bring in, and then you can just add them to your plan, and it's the actual light fixture that you're going to be specifying. So that ends this video. The next video will focus on adding more complicated ceiling systems.